Hi there. Well, as you can see, I've got my Great Plains Trainer 60 back in the workshop, and we've still got this lovely PAW 40 up in the front here, and as you can see probably we've still got that Meteor carb that we put in because I hadn't got the appropriate carb, and I throttled it down, managed to get it to work okay, but it was less than ideal. Well, a really kind and generous friend has sent me a proper carb for a PAW 40. So we'll have a quick close look at that in a minute. And what else I've got to do today is I've taken the fuel tank out because it's split around the neck. It was a new tank, but I think it's probably quite an old one. It's one that I can't remember where I picked it up from. I think somebody gave it me. And okay, and so it's split around the neck, which actually wasn't a problem why it was flying, because it's not a pressurized system. The split's on the top, but it does really need changing. So I'm going to be putting a new tank in today, and we're going to have a look at this carb. We're going to get it cleaned up probably, and then put in the engine. So let's take a closer look at these two things. Right, well, first off, here's the old tank, and if I bring that right in, you can see the split just there. And so, like I said, it didn't leak into the plane. I only noticed it because I take the top cover off when I'm filling it up so I can just see where the fuel level is. So I'm going to be making up a new tank. This is 6 ounces. So I've just bought a Cavan 6-ounce tank, which I think it may be a little bit too tall, but I think it'll probably go in. We'll have a look at getting that in. Now, the carb sent to me by my friend. Now, here we go. Now, this is the correct carb, and we've measured up the size, and these look really, really nice. And this moves lovely and freely. It doesn't really need anything doing to it. I can just slot it straight in. But you know, I'm really keen to see what these are like inside and how they work. So I'm going to strip it, even though it doesn't need it, give it a little bit of a clean up, and then get it back together, and then we can just slot it straight into the engine. So I'll zoom the camera in a little bit more, and we'll have a look at getting this taken apart. Right, well, let's get this thing taken apart. So first of all, we'll take the needle off. I've never seen inside one of these before, so I'm a little bit unclear as to how it comes apart. Now, I think that there is going to be the barrel retaining screw, and does that fit? Yep. So if we take that out, put that on one side, and just put those in shot so we can see them building up. Yes, so the barrel has come out, and we can see that there's an angled slot there which allows the barrel to move in and out, and we've got a jet here, and I guess that moves it in and out as you throttle down onto the if I just put that in, onto the needle there to close it down. So I guess that's essentially how the carb works. So, because obviously as you throttle down you need less fuel, so it's just adjusting that needle. Now I think if you take this out, it looks like a pinch screw, pinch bolt, and this, will this just come out? Take that screw out a little bit more. Oh, will it? Almost there. There we go. And now, does that come out? Oh yes, it does. And we can see there's a couple of holes in that which line this up. So that should be easy enough to locate, because we've got that hole there as well, which locates it into that cutout. So now, that is as far as I'm going to go. I don't see any point in taking out this bit where the needle screws into, and you can see the needle just sticking out there, look, into the venturi, or where the venturi is. I don't see any point in taking that out. It's probably set up right. I don't want to have to fiddle about with it, and exactly the same with this. I don't want to take that down anymore. And we can see clearly how this works. It's a very simple carb. You set the high-speed needle with the throttle fully open to get this jet right, and then as you throttle down, it rotates the barrel, it moves the barrel in and out as you throttle down, and again adjusts the fuel, reduces the amount of fuel by moving this closer in towards that needle, so reduces it from that high speed setting. So what I'm going to do now is I've got a tea strainer here, just something you make loose tea in, and I'm going to put the components in here and then dunk them in my methanol bath. And I like using methanol. I've got a jar here, let me just zoom out. Okay, I've got my jar of methanol here, and I like using methanol for cleaning up my engines. It's particularly good on diesels, and you can get this really easily. I mean, in the UK you can buy it off eBay, easy enough. I've just bought a fresh gallon actually off eBay. You can also get it from fuel suppliers. So, and like I say, I really like it. So it is just pure, something like about 99% pure methanol. So I'm going to leave that in there for half an hour, and then I'm going to find a toothbrush, I had one here somewhere, and give it all a scrub with a toothbrush, and that's all that we'll need to bring this up lovely and shiny. Right, well, while I've been waiting for the bits from the carb to soak, I've made up the fuel tank ready to go in, so I'll just slot that in. I'm actually using a Cavan fuel tank. I really like Cavan's products, really good. So that's all ready to go in. I've used the old fuel tubing, just the new tank. So, oh, and on the tank I've got the fuel filler, I've got a breather, and I've got the engine supply. So that's why I've got three. So we can fill it up and empty it with that, and that will just hang down, like I say, as a breather. We don't ever pressurize fuel tanks on diesels, because the exhaust gases that come from diesel have an element of water in them, and the last thing we want to do is introduce water into our diesel fuel. So right, here we go. We'll tell you what, we've got the barrel first, and all I'm going to do is, I've got it in this bowl, you can see, and I'm just going to give it a really good scrub. And you can see already, hopefully, I mean, there's quite a bit of, if I just zoom in a little bit more, there's quite a bit of dirt on that barrel, and we'll just give that a scrub, and that will, there, you can see already that's cleaned up. Like I say, it didn't need cleaning necessarily, because it was lovely and free, and but I just wanted to see what it looked like, and I thought inside, you know, how it worked. So I thought, well, while I'm doing that, I will give it a clean. Just a little bit of hard oil at the back there, so I'm just going to put a piece of tissue in and give that a twist, and that will just bring it out. So what I'm going to do now, yep, that's good. What I'm going to do now is just give everything a little bit of a scrub, and you can see this is quite dirty, and hopefully, yeah, look at that. The methanol is brilliant for bringing this kind of stuff up. So I will get everything scrubbed up, we'll get it laid out, and then we can build it back up. Right, well, I've got all of the components here, and I've just put a little bit of oil on this steel barrel, and that will just help it slide into to the main sort of carb housing. And we've got that cut out there, if you remember, and that's where the locating screw goes. So we'll just put that into place like that. Is that right? And we need to line up the hole in that steel barrel. You see, we need to line it up so it goes through the venturi properly. And there's only one way that this barrel can go in. And now we'll put in this pinch screw and just tighten this up to hold that in the correct place. So simple, these carbs, and yet from what I've seen in the past they are really good. So okay, before we pinch that up, that looks, yeah, perfectly lined up, I think. Am I happy with that? Yes, I am. So we'll tighten the pinch screw, and now we can see the hole in the venturi, or in this main body, lines up with the holes in this steel tubing, and the only way it can go is there, because we've got that screw for locating the cylinder, or the whatever you call it. And now that one, the barrel, I guess, and we'll just put that in. And if we just start that off, obviously we don't want to screw that in all the way. So I'm just going to loosen that off a bit and just rotate that very slightly, so because that screw is binding a little bit on the main body. There we go. Yeah, I think that's better. Now we can slide the barrel in, and if we put a lot of oil on this, or a bit of oil on it, just so it's nice, and we can just slide that in, and we need to just get that slot there held by this this screw here. There we go. So we can screw that all the way home, and now, yeah, and there we go. Look, you can see the barrel rotating and opening up the venturi, and that feels absolutely lovely. And that's essentially it. That's all there is to it. I'll put a little bit of oil on here, and we'll get the needle screwed in, and we'll set this up. And that needle feels nice, and I was going to use the word tight, but I think tight is the wrong word. It's a good fit. It's not going to vibrate loose, but it's not too tight. Right, now I've done that all the way in, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of pipe on like that. I'm going to open the throttle fully, and I'm going to blow on it, blow down it, and it should, the needle valve should be closed. There, that is closed now. There's no air coming through that, so I'm going to open that to maybe 2.5 turns, and now we should get loads of air through. Yeah, we're getting loads of air through, so that will give us a good starting point for when we get this in the engine. Right, well, all that's left to do now is get this new fuel tank in, which will be easy enough, and to get the carb in, which is just a single grub screw round here. We don't need to take the engine out or anything, so it will be nice to get the proper carb in. And actually, I've got a little bit of a confession to make. When I was soaking this in the ethanol, I left it quite a bit longer than half an hour. It was probably about an hour and a half. My wife came into the workshop. It's a really hot day, and she said, "Shall we go and get some ice cream?" Did I need to think about it? So anyway, let's get this sorted. Right, well, I've got the new carb in, and it just looks the part. It looks right for this engine, and I know it's going to perform much better than this Meteor carb. Don't get me wrong, it ran okay on this, but it was really difficult to adjust the settings, and I think it just wasn't right. So far better to get the appropriate carb in the engine. And we've got a fuel tank, new fuel tank, no leak. I tell you what, we'll take a quick closer look. Right, we can see the tank in here, and we've got the filler. I've put the filler in there rather than in the engine bay, which it was before, because it's just got the pipe a little bit too hot, and this is a little bit springy, so there we go, tuck it in. But that will just fit in there nicely, and screws down, and there we go. Let's get that in. And we've got the throttle connected up. Now, full throttle is fine, it's easy to adjust that. The idle and where we have that setting, obviously we can't determine that until we get to the field. But it's lovely and smooth, nice action. So I really feel this is going to be a good result, and I can't wait to get to the airfield with it. So all I'm going to do now is just wait for a decent flying day, and the next time I'm out at the airfield, this will definitely be with me. Can't wait to get it back in the air.
So much better. Oh, 11.7. 12.7, sorry, 12.7. Yeah, go for it. Oh, that is so much better. All the difference a prop makes. Look at that, so sweet. Definitely a little bit over compressed. Just takes a little bit of time to get used to the right compression setting, I think. I tell you what though, this is so much more economical on this PAW Carb. It's a difference of light and day compared to the old one I had on it. Coming down lowish. I'll bring it in now, Matt. I don't think there's much fuel left in this by the sound of it. Oh, there we go, dead stick. Oh!